G'day guys, welcome back again. Alright, we've got a little job to do on the Honda today. Nothing major, but I noticed from my last ride, this is my brake lever, and it's one of those supposed to be unbreakable, they flex up type. I lost the nut that holds all this sort of together. So that's what we're doing today. I've already made up a drawing for it, and we're going to machine up in the lathe a sort of a bolt type nut to hold all this together. Okay, let's get into it. Righto, so this is obviously not a one-to-one drawing. It's just made big so I can see it easier. So what we have here is, just lower this out of the way. This is basically a 3D outline of what we need. So we've got this sort of barrel section here, no thread on the outside. This is actually going to be threaded on the inside. It's a nut, all right? But we need a flange to hold that bit of plastic at the bottom there, which goes over the spring. But we need something to tighten it with, so we're going to machine some flats on the side of it. So basically, that's how it looks on the side profile. It won't be rounded on these edges here. That's just, I don't know, for some reason I put those rounded edges there. I was thinking of 3D printing this, but then thought, nah, I think it's better off doing it out of aluminium. So that was the reason for this rounded fillet there, is to just give it a bit more strength if I 3D printed it. But that was actually just machining it to the corner. There will always be a little bit of a radius there anyway. So it's pretty basic, but yeah, there's some little fiddly bits in there too. So we're going to make it out of aluminium, and the diameter of that whole head is 15 millimeters. And I've got some just a bit of scrap alloy here. I think there's some 6160 left over from another little project I did for a mate. Made some foot pegs for his motorbike out of it, and yeah, I think this will do the job. Chuck it up in the lathe. It's going to be about 15 mil long. What's that? It's about 42 mil stick out. That's plenty. Okay. Now, usually it will never be flat, so we'll just take it out a light cut. So now it's just a matter of taking this down. Major OD is 15 millimeters, and then we can work on the minor diameter and blah blah blah. All up, we'll be machining the major OD to a length of 25 mil. So I'll just come in, touch that off there. I'll zero the Z on there, so now I know when I hit 25 mil, I can stop. I will 28.5. Not exactly a critical dimension, so we're at 16.9, which is pretty good. I've got just under that on the dial here, digital readout. So I've got to take that down another 2 mil. On that back, I hope you can still see it. There you go. Let's check that now. And that's not bad. 0.01 over. I'm happy with that. Seeing as though it's not a critical dimension. Right, so now we want a dimension of 10 millimeters. So we're going to take another 5 mil off, but we only need it 12.4 millimeters long. So let's go in. Just check that OD to make sure we're on the money. 228. There we go. And well, that's smack on 14. So let's see, where are we at? We've got down to 14. We've got to take it down to 10 millimeters. So let's continue. I'll take another. Check that with the mic. This is even though this isn't a critical dimension either, I'd like to get it close. So we're at 10.5. So now I'll just take off another 0.5. Take a measurement. And look at that. I mean, we're half of 0.01 over our 10 mil. More than enough accuracy for what this job calls for. So now I'm going to put a little bit of a chamfer on there. Squiz now. Where are we at? Oops, see if we can focus. Okay, there we are. The shine. There you go. I'll move that out of the way. Get you a good angle there. There you go. It's a good. There, so that's where we're at now, and we don't need this much. We're going to be parting that off about here somewhere. Just need a bit of room for the parting tool, so I've taken off a bit of extra. Now, all I have to do is drill a hole in that, and then we'll tap that to the M6 that we need in there. A nice little entry chamfer. Drill the chuck in there. Open the drill truck up. Install the tap follower on the tap for some lubricant. And bring forth the tap follower, and we just wind that in. Alright, and that compresses the spring in there, and that is putting force on the tap. Okay, so I'm now in position. What I did was I fitted my parting off tool. This lathe has a big problem with parting off. It doesn't like it at all. So what I've done is I've inverted the parting off tool. So normally the parting off tool would be about up here somewhere, and the lathe would rotate anti-clockwise and shear off material against that edge there. But because I've inverted it, it's now, I have to reverse the lathe, and it will be traveling clockwise and shearing off material from the bottom. I do that because I get a lot of flex in my tool post here, and that causes chatter. It's not so bad on aluminium because it's very soft, but on steel it chatters and blunts the end of the parting off tool, and it doesn't like it. Yeah, it wants to bite in and just trying to pull the tool post in, where this one actually tries to push it away, so it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't scare me, to be honest, doing it this way. But I do need to reverse the lathe. And even though it's aluminium, it still doesn't like going fast. So I have to slow the mill down, the lathe down. Probably 200 is where this, about as fast as this wants to be. It's a small diameter, so it should be okay. Our part now. I'm not sure if I had the camera running when I tapped it or not. I hope I did. And now all that's left is we'll run the tap through it again to make sure we had all the full forming flutes through all the end of the tap. We'll put a little chamfer on the end there with that sharp edge. We'll take a face cut on it first. And then I'll thread it onto a bit of a mandrel, and we'll set it up in the mill. And we're actually going to machine 2 flats on this, so that we can grip it with a shifter or a spanner, so that we can tighten it up when we put it on. There it is. All right, let's get into it. I have a 10mm thing in there. Just run the tap through. I just wanted to make sure that this part here had fully formed threads. Just mounted this in the vise there. I'm just sort of, that'll be tight enough. We're going to put a flat on there. We need 12mm. So we've got a 15mm OD there, so we need 1.5mm off each side, and we're good to go. So I'll touch off on the top, I'll go down 1.5mm, and then we'll flip the part around to get the other side. To spin it around. Alright, I'll show you the setup. I've got the parallel packed up to the point where I can still access to machine some off, and it's sitting under the flat I've just machined. And now all I have to do is touch off on here and take off another 1.5, and we'll have our 2 flats. Okay, so we're done now. Might need a little bit of filing to clean that up. So we have our flats. And we'll just clean it up, and then we'll test fit it. Alright, so here we are at the bike, and we're just about to test fit it. So we need that to fit over the top of there. And we go inside, and our thread's good because she's going on. Let's hope that we have the right amount, how much pressure we put on it. So it's keep using that. So this is why I wanted that square drive with the flats, so that I can tighten it up. And it is, I think we're turning the yeah, starting to turn the actual whole bolt now, but I can set that to where I want it now, like that, hold it there, and that should work. Yeah, brake feels a lot better. Yeah, see, I think we've got a bit too much tension on it now because it's back off a touch. We want that to move freely. Look at the hand up, please. That's working freely. And I've just got that nipped up. So what I might do is I'm going to remove that nut again, and I'm going to install some Loctite, because I don't want, I think what's happened is this is vibrated loose. So I'm going to put some Loctite in there, just some thread lock, not permanent, because if we ever have to replace that handle, we want to be able to get that out. There we are. As you can see, it's I could have left that end not drilled through, no problem though. It all looks really nice. The aluminium should not corrode like a steel bolt would have. I think will be good, and that solved my problem, because what happened is I actually put a nut in here which held it all together, but then this part here, which covers the spring from getting all the dirt in it, wanted to keep falling off. So I thought, oh, we've got another problem here. So I created this flange nut idea, and it's working. I mean, worst case scenario, I could always put a little stainless steel grub screw up in there just to plug that hole. No big deal. Alright, so there we are, people. Job done, and done nicely. I'll just put some Loctite on the thread. There we go, guys. Thanks for coming along with me for that. It's a nice little quick little job, but you know, if I hadn't have done this, I would have had to buy a new lever. I didn't really want to do that. Nothing wrong with the lever. Works fine. Hopefully I won't lose this one, because I'll thread lock it in there, and any vibrations shouldn't come loose. And yeah, we'll be good for another next ride. Yeah, be great. I'm also going to do an oil change on this too. That reminds me. So that'll be on the next days off as well. She's due for an oil change. Alright guys, thanks for coming along. Please like and subscribe. If you want to see more, hit the bell for notifications of when I put out another one. And yeah, have a go and fix it. See you later.